Alright, so this is going to be a little different. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I am an extremely big fan of Naruto. Like, to the point where my friends make fun of me for it constantly, for putting references in it every other time I can. Especially in my D&D campaigns. I am not sorry. However, I used to love Naruto, but I never really watched it or read it, and I'm pretty sure some of us have been guilty of it. Like, we have probably done that where we don't actually read or watch something, but we love it because we basically just get it from the ideas of other people. Like, for example, the Naruto community. That's usually how I learned a lot about Naruto and Boruto to begin with. And one of the biggest inspirations for that was a YouTuber known as Dygoknight. Now, no hate to him or any of the people who watch his content, but he is infamous in the Naruto community for having some bad takes on Naruto in general. He's well known for being the retcon guy of Naruto, and it's not a good thing, especially since a lot of his takes are not the best. There's a reason that many people have gone and made fun of him for it, but one of his most famous things is his rewriting Naruto series, which is where he tries to rewrite Naruto to how he would have liked it to be. And I won't lie, I loved it at the time, especially when I was younger. I loved the series. I thought it was really cool. I thought his ideas were like the best thing ever. But as time went on and the series got longer, and I watched it every single time he brought out a new episode, I noticed that I was losing love for it. And honestly, I started losing love for his channel in general. And I think it was like 20 episodes in, I dropped the series altogether. I just didn't care for it after that. And as a result, I left Dygoknight altogether and didn't care for him after that. But as time went on and the years went by, I have seen Dygoknight in a series pop up every now and again. Now don't get me wrong, there are times where I have watched some of his videos, and most of those times were when he made extremely terrible takes. Like, for example, Hebi Sasuke versus Sage Mode Naruto. If you don't know why that take is terrible, look it up on YouTube. There are a lot more smart people out there who could tell you exactly why it is a stupid take, but let me just break it down in a way anyone can understand. Hebi Sasuke couldn't touch Sage Naruto with a 10-foot pole, and if he tried, Sage Naruto would destroy him with 2 Rasengans to the chest. And yet Dygoknight says that he would be able to win against Sage Naruto. Don't ask me why. So why am I talking about this? Why is this intro so long, and what does this have to do with anything? Well, I have decided to review his Rewriting Naruto series. Oh boy. So for those of you who have never watched it, it is basically Dygoknight's interpretation of Naruto and how he would have rewritten the whole series. In other words, it is what is known as fanfiction. And, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying fanfiction bad. I'm not one of those guys, because I won't even lie. I've seen a bunch of Naruto fanfiction in the past. Some of it's good, most of it's terrible. Most of it sucks. But there are some good ones out there. But this one is Dygoknight's magnum opus, you could say. The thing he loves most. His prized possession. And I'm about to review it and talk about all the problems I have with it. Oh boy, I'm scared. So, yeah. With that being said, let's go on to episode 1 of the Dygoknight Rewriting Naruto series. I also want to preference this right before we start. No hate to Dygoknight whatsoever. And yeah, I don't want to see any of you, like, going into, like, any of his comments or something for any of his videos and telling him he sucks. That is not what I'm trying to do. So let's keep it civil, and let's not try and show any hate towards them. Okay? Alright, let's begin.
Welcome to the Rewriting Naruto series, a series of videos where I'll be rewriting the Naruto series in chronological order, changing, deleting, and including things I find would improve the series for my personal taste.
Alright, the first big thing here is that, obviously, this is for his personal taste. And I'm not going to attack him for any reason on his personal taste. His taste and my taste are going to be completely different. It's how everyone is. We're not going to have the exact same taste in a story. And that's fine. I'm not blaming him for that. I'm not saying that his ideas are immediately terrible for how he would have wanted a series to go. However, I do have problems with the series in general that I think anyone is allowed to talk about. What I'm doing is instead I'm going to tell you I don't think it's wrong to just criticize a story, especially since if they don't have criticisms for a story, then I don't really think it works as well as a story. Like, saying, oh, you're not allowed to criticize my story, blah blah blah, is bad. I know I feel like I'm rambling, I kind of am, I'm sorry. But, again, I'm just saying, there's some things I think are wrong with the story, and I'll talk about it as we go, so.
I'm in no way, shape, or form claiming that I could have done a better job writing Naruto than Kishimoto. After all, what I'm doing here is just building up upon a great series that he developed and that's already been established. And Kishimoto had to come up with a new manga chapter every single week, and not only with his story, but he also had to draw the art. He did a fantastic job, but
And he's right. It's insane what Kishimoto, Oda, and all those other people, especially back in the early 2000s, had to go through when creating manga. Even today, it's insane. Like, I do not blame any of them for being, like, I do not blame those guys when it comes to, like, how their story is just based off of what they had to go through, because if you didn't know, creating these kinds of stories, especially in Japan, is horrible on your health. Look it up. It destroyed some of these people. Like Kishimoto and Oda and the author of Bleach, I don't remember their name at this time, they've had times where they have had to go to the hospital while making these stories. And some of their artwork I could never do in my life. It's amazing. So, I agree with him 100% here. He is absolutely right. These stories are amazing. Naruto is an amazing story for an extremely good reason.
But I like to imagine this series as a what-if scenario when I have a time machine and go back in the past and I'm chosen to be Kishimoto's editor when he is starting the series. With the knowledge that I have now of how the series spanned out until the end and how characters progressed and all that, what would I change to make the series even better and to make things fit? Also, if there is a...
Okay, so, this is where I'm gonna have a problem with it. Because again, I don't agree with a lot of his takes on Naruto. However, I want you to keep in mind what he said. That this is, if he had a time machine and could go back in time, this is how he would do Naruto as Kishimoto's editor. Keep that in mind, because it's going to be coming up a lot throughout this series. And you'll see why.
Plot point, character, story beat, or arc that I don't mention here, assume it should remain the same as in the original. Before we begin, however,
Okay, I don't think you needed to do that.
It also makes me smile a lot, so we all win. Alright.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this now. I think one reason why he has to blur out a lot of this footage is because of copyright. I'm not going to blame him on that. Copyright sucks for all of us. So I'm not gonna judge him on that if throughout this story he has a lot of, like, these blurred images happening. I don't think he actually has it a lot. I think he actually stops doing it, like having a lot of these animated portions of videos from the anime. And I get it. It's copyright. It sucks. It really does, so I'm not blaming him for any of this. Like, if you have a problem with how the video looks right now, blame copyright, not him. I'm not gonna blame him for that.
Dygoknight. Let's go. Chapter 1 starts pretty much the same way it did in the original. We learned about Naruto and the Kyuubi and the 4th Hokage sacrifice, and we also learned that Naruto is a loner hated by the entire village for being the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. However, Naruto knows Minato is his dad and has a deep resentment towards his father for turning him into the recipient of the Nine-Tails. We can
Okay! My first big problem here, and one that I've even talked to some of my friends about, and they have a problem with too. Naruto knowing about his dad. I do not think it fits whatsoever. Naruto knowing about his dad is, in my opinion, a bad idea when you actually think about it. Like, him knowing about Minato seems like a great idea. Hey, he knows about his dad. He automatically knows, you know, oh, my father is the reason for this. The problem is, I don't think that works at all, because just having the main character know why this happened, it sort of just brings angst into the series that I do not think needs to actually be there. I do not think you need to just have Naruto immediately know about Minato and immediately say, oh, hey, I hate my dad. Like, I think that was one of the good things Kishimoto did. He did not have Naruto know about his dad at first. Because then, if Naruto knows about Minato, and we know how Naruto is, he's kinda dumb at times, do you ever think he would never just blurt out, well, my dad is the 4th Hokage, you can shut up? Like, one of the reasons Hiruzen made it so Naruto never found out about his father was so that his enemies of his father would never come in and attack Naruto. And we know how Naruto is as a person. He would absolutely blurt this stuff out in character. And I think that would get him killed immediately. So, no, I don't think this works, not even just on a character level. I don't think it works because I feel like you're just making Naruto more angsty, honestly, right off the bat. And I feel like that doesn't work for Naruto's character. I think one of the reasons why Naruto and Sasuke are such great characters is because of the fact that Naruto is happy-go-lucky and Sasuke is angsty and a loner. It works because their characters sort of mirror each other. But if you're just making Naruto angsty like Minato, what is there to mirror?
See Naruto defacing the Hokage faces in Konoha, but he is especially mean to the 4th Hokage. He also has a vague understanding about the Nine-Tails itself. He knows there's some sort of demon or monster inside of him, and that's why most of the people really despise him, but that's about what he knows. The people in the village are even meaner to Naruto, and Naruto himself also despises the village for treating him the way they do, unlike the original, which he just seems to be sad. So in this rewrite,
Alright, so now you're making all of the village hate him even more? Like, don't get me wrong, the villagers were not great people for attacking a child who had no idea why he was hated. Like, they were complete pieces of crap for that. But now you make Naruto not only know about it, but make the people hate him even more? It feels like you're just adding on more of a sad backstory to Naruto. He already has a sad backstory. He's an orphan who is hated by people for reasons he doesn't understand. Adding more angst to that doesn't help.
Naruto's sad, but he's also a lot angrier. We can also see scenes of Naruto just being shouted by the villagers, and when he gets angry and shout back at them, they get afraid of him and leave. And after they leave, scared of Naruto, we can see Naruto's sad expression of being just lonely. And also include a scene where Naruto sees...
Okay. I kinda like the idea of Naruto having scenes where we see him be lonely more. Like, apart from, like, the Talk no Jutsu scenes, where it's like, oh yes, I understand you, I was alone at this point, where we have, you know, where Naruto talks about how he's lonely, and it's like the same 3 images, one of them being the image of Naruto, like, being surrounded by a bunch of people that he just showed, where he's kind of just alone, just kind of crying like that. Like, I wish we had more of that in the story itself, because I feel like it would have made it work better. But if you're gonna make Naruto darker and stuff, then I guess it makes sense why you would then have him kind of be a little more aggressive towards the people. So I'm not going to fault you for that. Obviously, this is how you're writing the series, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to say it's terrible right off the bat, but I do have my issues with it. We'll probably get into more of it near the end of the episode.
Sad expression of being just lonely. And also include a scene where Naruto sees a kid playing with his mom or dad, and then Naruto just looks envious and sad about his own life when he sees a kid who has a parent. I think these changes improve a couple of things. First, I've always found it weird that Naruto didn't know more about his past.
Oh boy, let's get into this one.
I've always found it weird that Naruto didn't know more about his past. People would definitely talk about this, and he would eventually learn details, even if it's not much. Also, Naruto knowing he is Minato's son will give some interesting storytelling opportunities, and let's be real, the reveal about Minato was kind of underwhelming anyway in the original, because it was just a conversation between Jiraiya and Tsunade, and they're just talking about it, and when Naruto...
Are you sure? It was never actually revealed. What are you talking about? Even in this manga panel, like, we have them being extremely vague. They're talking about Kushina in this scene, not Minato. So it makes no sense why in the world you would just say, oh yes, we're talking about his dad, like, oh yes, no, does look a lot like his dad. Like, yeah, you can make the assumption they're probably talking about Minato, and I'm pretty sure this is around the time when Minato is discovered to be his dad in the manga, though I might be wrong. I think this might be earlier. But I think what Kishimoto was doing here was laying down the seeds for that idea. And that's why people say, oh yeah, we knew right off the bat that Minato was his father. Like, no, we didn't. Like, this is coming from someone who didn't get into Naruto until long after the series was over, and he had a son who was doing his own series. No one truly knew this fact up until Minato finally showed himself. And here's the other thing. What sort of ideas are you going to do? That's what I want to know. What sort of ideas with Minato are you going to do exactly? If it's just going to be, oh, this, and that, then I don't think it's going to work nearly as well. If it's just like, oh, hey, you meet one of his dad's, like, enemies. Like, yeah, that's cool, but is that all you're gonna do with it? Because I know that is one of the things he does with it, I think in literally the next episode, but I don't think he ever does anything with it after that. And it's like, if you're gonna bring this idea out, I think there needs to be more to it. And also, Naruto shouldn't know that his father is Minato, because it makes it extremely dangerous for him as a child. Like, one of the biggest reasons why it is never talked about to Naruto that we are given is because his father's enemies would try and kill him. And it isn't until long after he has already basically had Sage Mode that he is able to not have to worry about that anymore, and he can know about his father and his mother. Like, this is an extremely dangerous idea, because if Naruto knows, who else knows? And that's the scary thing. That's what I think would make this worse, because who in the world is going to attack him next? And if he does something with this where it's like, hey, I'm bringing this up so that eventually someone attacks Naruto in the future who isn't from the village and knows about it, then I think that'd be interesting. But if nobody knows that Naruto is Minato's son, and yet Naruto himself does, these are even worse ninja as a result, because, seriously? You guys never would have discovered that Naruto is Minato's son. It's not like Naruto isn't going to be subtle about it. As you literally said, he was extremely mean towards Minato's statue. Meaning that if you're a spy, for example, and you say, huh, that kid, I've seen him get, like, really popular around here. Why is he hating on the Hokage so much? Why is he hating on Lord Fourth so much? Wait a minute. I've seen that kid. He kind of looks... Wait a minute. Or is he his... Oh. Like, you get what I mean? That's going to make it worse if he knows. I don't think this idea actually works when you break it down like that. Like, here's the thing. I get it. You're doing it for angst and, like, for this making Naruto be like, oh, I hate my dad because of this, this, and that. Like, I get it. I'm not saying Naruto wasn't angry at his father in the series. He literally punches him in the gut the second that he meets him. Naruto absolutely is shown to have resentment towards Minato for what he's done. But I just don't think this is going to work as well as you think.
Was just a conversation about Minato was kind of underwhelming anyway in the original because it was just a conversation between Jiraiya and Tsunade and they're just talking about it. And when Naruto learns that Minato is his dad, we, the audience, already knew about it, so it wasn't that impactful anyway. However, when Naruto...
Again, we had ideas. It was never actually confirmed until Minato himself said it. And no other point is someone saying, oh yeah, Minato, the 4th Hokage, is Naruto's father. We had an idea. That it wasn't confirmed until this moment. So I don't think the whole, oh, we all already knew. No, I think you're using future ideas and saying, oh yeah, we all knew. It was obvious. Like, now of course everyone knows, because the series is like, what, almost 15 years old now or something? Or was it like, it was either, no, it was like a decade ago. Man, my math is terrible. But still, it doesn't work as well as I think you're going to make it out to be.
Audience already knew about it, so it wasn't that impactful anyway. However, when Naruto finally meets the dad he's always resented in this series, that could definitely be interesting. Moving on,
It kind of already was interesting. Like, this is one of the few times in the original series Naruto just straight up decks a dude in anger, and it isn't because of Sasuke. Like, it's interesting because it's honestly a little more subtle than I think you're making it be. Naruto actually shows how much resentment he has towards his father in that moment, punching him in the gut for it. Like, that's good, and I feel like what he might be doing here is he's adding more to Naruto that really doesn't need to be there, because it's like, with Naruto, a lot of his stuff already works. It's just that it's a little more subtle than we think it should be. Like, surprisingly, Naruto has some subtlety to himself, who would have guessed? But I think that's what he's doing. He's trying to be like, oh yes, I'm adding so much more to the story, even though it was already there. I don't know.
Always resented in this series. That could definitely be interesting. Moving on, Naruto is caught by Iruka for defacing the Hokage statues, and Iruka brings Naruto directly to Hiruzen, the 3rd Hokage. That is when we learn about Naruto's dad, and that Naruto hates the 4th Hokage because he is screaming it in front of Hiruzen, saying that the Hokage deserve to be defaced. He also says he will become the strongest Hokage to show the village he doesn't need them, and that he can get strong by himself. And also he says he'll become a Hokage just to show his dad that even though he gave Naruto a terrible life, he won't be chained by what his father determined. And this is Naruto's main character flaw that he'll have to overcome. He believes that becoming a Hokage is more like a revenge thing, like I am going to show you how much better than you I can be, when he has to learn that becoming a Hokage has to do with actually protecting the people in the village and caring for everyone, but he can only...
Alright, I'm just gonna put this out there. That was already Naruto's goal in the original. Again, it's more subtle. With Naruto in the original, he wants not revenge, but to be accepted by others. That's why he is wanting this. He wants to be accepted by the other villagers and be cared about. That's why he wants to be Hokage. He doesn't learn until later exactly what being a Hokage means. Like, again, you have the idea of Naruto, and you're making it just into a darker idea of what Naruto is, and I don't think that works nearly as well as you think it does.
to do with actually protecting the people in the village and caring for everyone. But he can only do that once he lets go of his feelings of hatred and starts to be more compassionate towards them. Hiruzen naturally defends Minato, saying he was a great man, and we can see Hiruzen is very kind to Naruto, even though Naruto is being a prick. He then offers Naruto to go live with him more comfortably because he knows Naruto lives in bad conditions, and he also says that's what Minato would have wanted. The way this conversation...
Okay, I completely agree with this idea. Hiruzen in the original is hated for a very good reason. It's because of what he has done to the village and Naruto. There's a reason that people say Hiruzen is one of the worst Hokage, and the only reason I've heard for any Hokage being worse is because Danzo was technically a Hokage. What does that say about Hiruzen? If Danzo is the only person worse than you, I agree we should have had more of Danzo being better to Naruto. I don't disagree with this idea at all. I think it works very well because it actually makes you kind of want to like Hiruzen. So yeah, Dygoknight, you have a very good idea. I like this idea. This makes sense. And that's the sad thing about this story, of what Dygoknight and how he writes his things. He has very good ideas. I think his execution is not done as well as you would think. But trust me, we'll get into more of that in a second.
Goes implies that Hiruzen made this offer countless times before, but Naruto refused every time. This makes Hiruzen look less of an a-hole for not taking proper care of Naruto, and gives Naruto more agency as a character, because he essentially says he would rather die than be chained by another Hokage. With this scene, we can see Naruto's character flaw.
Alright, so I just noticed my head is really shiny. Hold on, I'm gonna try something real quick. Give me a second. Alrighty. Got my One Piece hat on. We got the One Piece drip. I don't have Naruto drip, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, we'll be rocking with this. Probably define my head a bit more and not make it as shiny. I know I'm going bald. It sucks.
With this scene, we can see Naruto's character flaws very visibly, but also empathize with him and the third Hokage as well. Continuing with Chapter 1, everything goes about the same in the original with one small exception. When Naruto uses his 1,000 shadow clones to defeat Mizuki, we can see his eyes changing to the classic Kyuubi eyes and his whiskers get more pronounced. I mean, come on, we hyped up the Nine Tails during the entire chapter, so we have to somehow give it a payoff.
Okay, so this idea. I like it. I like the idea of it. I do not think it works nearly as well as you think. Mostly because that implies every time Naruto brings out a bunch of clones, it is because of the Kyuubi. It is because of the Nine Tails, and not because of himself. I think that the idea that Naruto is able to do this on his own by protecting those he loves is actually a lot better, and also, I feel like this is just an example of, like, pacing nowadays being a lot faster than it was back then, because again, we have an example of One Piece. At this time, when Naruto and One Piece were coming out around the same time, One Piece was still on its very first, like, I'm pretty sure was still on its very first arc, or if not, it was just reaching Alabasta at this point. That is incredibly slow when you think about it. Like, it's just a slower pacing kind of thing. And the thing is, I think it still works because we're building up to what the Nine Tails can do throughout this arc. So when people go, oh, I wish Naruto just used the Kyuubi immediately, I don't think it works, because we don't get to see even a fraction of the Kyuubi's power up until Naruto has to fight people as strong as Kakashi. That tells you just how powerful the Kyuubi is, and I feel like it works way better when Naruto isn't just getting to use this against a random Chunin. I can understand why people may not like this idea as much, like, why doesn't Naruto just have the Kyuubi's power immediately? But I think it actually works when you take into context the fact that Naruto using the Kyuubi's power isn't done until his own, basically, friend dies right in front of him, and he becomes angry. Like, the negative aspect of the Kyuubi comes in. So again, Like, I think the idea of fixing this doesn't actually work when there was never anything to actually be fixed. Also, I will be interchanging QB and the Ninetales, just like he does. If you get annoyed by that, sorry. Just how it is.
During the entire chapter, so we have to somehow give it a payoff. That would also explain why Naruto can create so many shadow clones in that fight, and why he doesn't do it all the time to win all of his fights, because he needs the QB chakra to make so many clones at this point of the story.
Okay, so there is actually an explanation in Naruto itself as to why Naruto can do this for basically no reason. And it's because in Naruto, wanting to protect those you love can literally make you do things you would never be able to do normally. That is actually the reason for why characters in Naruto can suddenly get massive amounts of chakra out of nowhere. It's actually explained in the story. It's not just for no reason. So, I mean, he's been doing Naruto for a very long time. I feel like he should know this.
All of his fights, because he needs the QB chakra to make so many clones at this point of the story. Moving on to chapter 2, well, this chapter gets deleted, alongside Konohamaru and Ebisu, which are two completely useless characters in the grand scheme of things. Really, they don't have any development at all, and they just get in the way of the story.
You're wrong, fundamentally, on this one, and I don't need to actually explain this. There's someone else who can do it for me. A comment that I saw, let's see if I can find it. Here it is, right here. Was it Danto Far? I don't know. This guy right here. He explains it like a lot better than I ever could. Disagree about Konohamaru. The point of Konohamaru is that he is the first person who Naruto gets to accept him. Basically, he's saying Konohamaru is the first person to accept Naruto other than Iruka, because Iruka basically has always kind of accepted him to a certain point. But Konohamaru is the first person to ever accept Naruto as who he is. Naruto's stated goal at the start of the series was to become the Hokage so that everyone will accept him. Then in the arc where the village finally accepts him, Konohamaru, the first person to accept him, takes down a pain with a jutsu he learns from Naruto, proving symbolically that if the leaf accepts Naruto, he would spark positive change in them. Alright, so first off, I'm sorry if I stutter a lot. I just stutter a lot, I'm sorry. But he has a good point. Naruto, there's a reason Konohamaru is in the story to begin with, and it's so that Naruto has someone who finally accepts him for who he is that isn't Iruka or the third Hokage. And again, he is the person Naruto trains Konohamaru on using the Rasengan, which comes back during the Pain arc, where Konohamaru uses the Rasengan on a Pain. Like, that's set up in chapter 2 and doesn't get paid off until, like, over 300 chapters later. That's incredible setup that actually works for the story. And here's the funny thing. Konohamaru is still important to the story in Boruto, which if you didn't know, Dygoknight hates Boruto. So he basically pretends that story never happened. And as a result, he ignores the fact that Boruto becomes the team leader of Boruto and his team, and is still important even in Boruto to this day. Konohamaru is not as useless as people make him out to be. He actually has a reason for being in the story. And so it irks me when Dygoknight says, oh, he's not important to the story. Ignore him. But now we're going to talk about Dygoknight's favorite character. And why do I say this? Well, don't let what I say tell you otherwise. Let's let Dygoknight show you why I say this.
Instead, Chapter 2 will focus on Sasuke, the second most important character in the series. We'll see Sasuke's life from his own perspective, and we'll see that he is completely alone as well, like Naruto. People don't hate Sasuke like they do hate Naruto, but they pity Sasuke, which infuriates him nonetheless. Sasuke doesn't want pity, he wants his revenge. Still, Sasuke remains very stoic and doesn't let his anger transpire that he doesn't like when people pity him, because he's very proud, and we know that. We don't get details about the Uchiha massacre here, we just know Sasuke doesn't have a family and is very alone, and that people pity him a lot. People of his age still idolize him like Sakura and Ino, but he feels completely useless and undeserved of this idolatry, and he feels just very guilty of his past, that he was weak and couldn't do anything, that he was helpless, and that's why he doesn't think he should be idolized by anyone. The only person that shows feelings other than idolatry or pity towards Sasuke is Naruto, who has an adversarial relationship with him, and it's a very unique thing for Sasuke. In this chapter, we can see that even though Naruto and Sasuke are rivals and act as though they hate each other, they want to get closer to each other deep down, but they just don't know how. It seems like the two of them are the only ones who can understand each other, but their pride doesn't let them become friends outright. Include a scene where...
Okay, I know he's about to say, like, including a scene, but here's the thing that I have a problem with. What are you gonna do here? I think all of this works without having to add stuff. I feel like you're just adding Sasuke in earlier to talk about your favorite character. That's it. You're not doing anything to Sasuke. What are you going to add here that is actually important? Like, narratively, what is there to add here that cannot already be added with Sasuke's introduction in the story as it is? We already know, like, pretty much all of this from meeting Sasuke. It doesn't work, because now you're just adding your favorite character. What's he going to do? Walk around and be all like, oh, this is so annoying. Oh, I hate these girls. Like, I feel like he's going to become more annoying if you just do this.
Naruto provokes Sasuke in that early Part 1 childish way, and Sasuke just plays cool, dismissing Naruto and just owning him with words. Naruto leaves pissed off, but then we cut to Sasuke and he has a subtle smile on his face. After that, there will be only...
Alright, so if you didn't notice there, he goes, oh, Sasuke owns Naruto. Yeah, it's annoying. Dygoknight really loves Sasuke, and I'm not gonna say he shouldn't love his favorite character. But you're going to tell as this story continues, throughout just this first episode, just how kind of annoying it gets. Because he doesn't just love Sasuke, he loves Sasuke. And it's almost like he's trying to make Sasuke the series instead of Naruto. Like, it's going to be way more apparent throughout this rewrite. Like, so much more apparent. And it gets annoying a whole lot quicker than you would possibly think it could. But yeah, this is basically just an excuse for Dygoknight to talk more about his favorite character. And you're gonna see just how annoying it gets really freaking quickly.
There will be only a couple of changes in the Bell Test arc. First, cut Naruto and Sasuke's kiss. Even though there's an amazing joke in Shippuden about that, many potential viewers just drop the series because of that. And I just find it kinda stupid and cheap. Another scene we are cutting out is the scene where Sasuke is quote-unquote captured by Naruto. Just don't do that. It's important that Naruto doesn't beat Sasuke here for the purposes of the narrative I'm trying to build. Also, during the Bell...
Okay, this is where something gets interesting, something I actually completely disagree with. First off, it's very clear what he's doing here. He's trying to not make Sasuke have any embarrassing moments, which in my opinion is a terrible idea. You're basically doing the Sun Jin Woo effect. Have your main character just always be cool, and never have him have any embarrassing moments or any moments where nothing happens, where he's just always cool. Do you want to know why I think Sasuke works as a character? Because he isn't just this overpowered character who can do anything in the narrative and is carried by everything. Sasuke haters hate him already for how he works in the narrative. You do this, they have even more fuel for the fire. Like, Sasuke haters hate Sasuke because he's already this really cool and interesting character. You're just not helping him. And more importantly, the fact that Naruto just literally gets Sasuke and ties him up and is able to capture him is extremely smart. Want to know how? Well, I'll tell you how, because Naruto never had the shadow clones before this point. Yeah, you kind of forgot about that, didn't you? Yeah, Naruto never had that. And I don't care what you say, if you're being sneaked by someone who has always been weaker than you, and then all of a sudden 4 more of him come out of nowhere, I don't care how good you are, especially since Sasuke is not nearly as good as he's trying to claim him to be. Sasuke is still a kid, and he is extremely unprepared still for what there is to come. He's still a genin, a rookie ninja. So, a sneak attack makes sense. Because we see in Naruto, people of even less strength than you can sneak you and can actually hurt you. Wanna know how we know this? Because in this very freaking arc, Zabuza has that exact thing happen to him. He loses in his first fight with Team 7 because the weaker Genin were able to trick him. That's good writing. Just getting rid of that, like, oh, Sasuke doesn't care, it doesn't matter what happens. Like, Sasuke wins immediately. That doesn't do anything. It makes Sasuke's character worse. And I do not think it works nearly as well as you think it does for his character whatsoever.
Itself, Kakashi taunts Naruto, saying that his dad was much better than him, much more talented, and Kakashi can also say that Minato was his teacher, and when Naruto learns that, he gets even more pissed at Kakashi and tries to beat him up, but of course he is just humiliated. The rest of the belt
Alright, so, one thing I do like the idea of is Naruto having a reaction to the fact that Minato was Kakashi's teacher. I don't think in the original series Naruto really cared, which is weird because in the original series Minato was Naruto's inspiration. He didn't know Minato was his father at the time in the original series, obviously, but he was still inspired by him. And the fact that I'm pretty sure Naruto does even find out Kakashi was Minato's student, and he doesn't seem to care nearly as much in the original, so I like the idea that Naruto has a reaction, and for this rewrite it makes sense. Hey, he was my teacher, you're not as good as him. It makes sense, and I think that that is an idea that should have been the original, just more of Naruto wanting to know about Minato. Naruto wanting to learn more about Minato would have made a lot more sense than the original. I think this is an idea that works for both this rewrite and the original, and the idea of Naruto finding out and having a reaction. I like that idea, especially since it brings up the idea of Kakashi being his student. I like that idea too. I like the idea of them learning this sooner. So, I like that idea, Dygoknight. Good job.
To beat him up, but of course he is just humiliated. The rest of the bell task remains the same, and it is a great mini-arc. After that, we get a quick montage of Team 7 going on low-level missions that would be paired up with a good old Sasuke-Naruto rivalry, with Naruto trying to one-up Sasuke in every opportunity he gets, and every time he fails miserably. Also, Naruto does that trying to catch Sakura's attention. In this rewrite, Naruto has a crush on Sakura mostly because of his rivalry with Sasuke. He wants to beat Sasuke in every way possible, and getting the girl who likes Sasuke would be a perfect way to assert his dominance. We can see that
that was already canonically a reason in Naruto. In the last, Sakura even tells Naruto that that was the reason that you did all those things and liked. Like, you're not adding anything here. That was already established. Are you saying that you're gonna add this idea sooner? Because then it would make more sense, but if that's the case, then okay, that makes more sense, but this was already an established idea in Naruto. But then again, I also know what you think about stuff like the Otsutsuki and the last. I have seen his video on what he thinks about the last. So, yeah. I know why he probably wants to put this in sooner, and I feel like if you explain that sooner, it also works a lot better. So, I'm kind of iffy on this one. I like it. Like, having Naruto's reason be more put into the story sooner rather than later. But at the same time, this is an established part of Naruto, even if it's stated later on in Naruto, so I don't know.
Girl who likes Sasuke would be a perfect way to assert his dominance. We can see that theme again of Sasuke and Naruto both wanting to become friends closer to each other, but their ego getting in the way during this montage. So now we begin the Land of Waves arc. The first change happens when Kakashi shows his Sharingan. Sasuke should be pissed off about that and would confront Kakashi after the fight is done as to how he has a Sharingan. Kakashi tells Sasuke, and
when would he do this? Are you saying like he would do it whenever they're training? Or when exactly? Like, I think you should say when exactly this happens. Like, if it's during their training, that makes more sense. But if it's right after the fight itself, Kakashi literally falls unconscious after the fight. Like, maybe I'm being a little harsh here, maybe I'm like, oh, hey, when are you gonna do this? Oh, but like, maybe explain that part a bit more. Like, when is he going to do this? When is he going to confront Kakashi? Because if it's going to be right after everything, he's going to start talking to Kakashi and all of a sudden his teacher's gonna fall over basically dead, which may not be the best time to do it. I do like the idea though that Sasuke does ask, hey, when did you get this? What in the world happened? And Kakashi explains it, so I like that idea. I like the idea.
old friend gave it to him, calming Sasuke down, and Kakashi also says that when Sasuke gets his Sharingan, he'll be able to teach him better how to use it than anyone. This could be the start of a more developed relationship between Sasuke and Kakashi would serve as a father figure to Sasuke, albeit the relationship wouldn't be as on the nose as Naruto and Jiraiya. I think developing a deeper bond between the two of them is important, and it will be even more tragic when Sasuke leaves the village. In a similar way, Naruto also confronts Kakashi about him having been one of Minato's students, and Kakashi tells some stuff about Minato to Naruto, because even though Naruto kinda resents Minato, he is still very curious about his dad and about what he can do. So Kakashi tells Naruto about some of Minato's exploits, about his legendary speed, and that he was known as the Yellow Flash of the Leaf. It's a good place to get some of the lore about Minato, and also for Naruto to find some stuff out about his dad and keep that connection going. The next
Alright, so I like the idea, but I feel like this is one of those times where maybe not at this point in the series to explain this. Again, explaining it, yes, absolutely, but I feel like you might be doing it a little too soon. I feel like you kind of have the pacing for this arc going a little too quickly, and I'm not gonna say that's a bad idea. Like, again, this is what the story is going for, so I'm not gonna say that's a bad idea. I just think maybe at the moment their priorities would be a little more on Zabuza and Haku, and not like Minato himself, you know? So, But here's another problem I have. What about Kushina? Why aren't you gonna talk about her at all? I think that's a great idea for us maybe to talk about Kushina too. Maybe bring her up at some point. And trust me, I'll get into this at the end of the episode. But this, I think, is one of his biggest problems with this entire rewrite so far. But I'll get more into that in a second.
Find some stuff out about his dad and keep that connection going. The next change happens in the scene where Naruto and Sasuke are trying to climb the trees using chakra. It goes pretty much the same way it did in the original, but when they both succeed, Sasuke simply says, "Good job, loser," in that cool yet shy way of his. Naruto grins and says, "You too." This is the first time they are acknowledging each other as friends. Of course, we get more mentions of Naruto resenting his father and that he will become the Hokage throughout this arc as well. Sakura remains useless, but we can include a scene where Sasuke may begin to develop feelings for her. It could be something subtle, very quick, like when they go out to buy food in the Land of Waves town, maybe they can have an awkward interaction where Sasuke may start seeing Sakura with other eyes. But of course, he doesn't say anything, and Sakura...
Okay, so again, I'll talk more about this in a second. I hate the idea of making Sakura useless. I will talk more about that in a second, though, but I'm just gonna bring that up here.
Obviously sims non-stop for Sasuke. We have to develop the romance more here, because in the original Sasuke has literally no reason for liking Sakura as far as anyone can tell. Sakura has a childhood crush on him, which is understandable, but these feelings can develop and become deeper over time. The rest of the arc remains the same, as the Land of Waves arc is just very solid. When they go back to Konoha though, we get a scene where Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura are walking. Maybe they are going to Ichiraku to celebrate their first A-rank mission, and a couple of Chunin stop them and start to harass Naruto. Naruto gets pissed off, of course, but Sasuke steps in.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm going to talk about this real quick. So, a bunch of Chunin go up to Naruto and start making fun of him and harassing him. Yeah, this is something that a lot of fanfiction loves to do for Naruto, to make him sort of like be this punching bag that eventually, oh, this really cool character will eventually show them. In the original, we never get a scene like that. There's like one Chunin, one ninja in general that really ever shows his hate for Naruto, and that's Mitsuki, or whatever his freaking name is, Mizuki or something, I don't freaking know, he's not even important. The guy that tells Naruto about his identity as the Nine Tails, was it Jinchuriki? That's it. There is at no other point where I think we ever see another ninja from the Leaf actually hate Naruto. Which is interesting, don't you think? We know that the civilians hate him, so why don't the ninja? Well, it's probably because the ninja understand that attacking your Jinchuriki is a very freaking bad idea. Because, let's make this about as clear as we can, he's a freaking walking nuke. I'm pretty sure they're smart enough to realize that you shouldn't make fun of that. So, yeah, this is stupid. And what Dygoknight's immediately gonna do with Sasuke is even more stupid in my opinion.
To harass Naruto. Naruto gets pissed off, of course, but Sasuke steps in and activates his Sharingan, saying, "Got a problem, friend?" And he intimidates the two Chunin, and then they go away, essentially protecting Naruto. Naruto gets pissed at Sasuke for jumping in, and he says he had everything under control. Sasuke just responds, "Whatever, loser," but deep down, Naruto is really happy Sasuke did that for him. Sakura also shows concern for Naruto and asks if he's okay, and he acts all macho around her as always. We then get a heartwarming scene of the three of them eating ramen, cementing the start of their friendship to close the arc. And that's the beginning of the rewrite. Tell me in the comments.
Alright, let's get into that part first before I talk about some other problems I have. Mostly just one, but yeah. You clearly, I'm pretty sure anyone with a brain could clearly figure out exactly what he was doing. He's making Sasuke really freaking macho and cool by having him defend Naruto. And that's stupid. Wow, you're just making your favorite character even more awesome and cool. And here's something I should maybe mention now. I am not a hater of Sasuke, might I add. I actually like him. So, the fact that you're making me get annoyed by a character I like is not good. You're making him, in my opinion, a worse character. Because you're making him have all these cool, awesome moments where he's the cool guy of the group. You wanna know why I think Naruto works as a series? It's because even the most awesome and cool characters have the most stupid moments. Apart from the villains, obviously, with maybe the exception like Obito, but that's because he's supposed to be Naruto at first, but if he turns evil, and so having him kind of be stupid like Naruto makes a lot more sense. But every other character Every other main villain is always cool. Want to know what separates them from the other characters, the good guys? They are goofy. They are idiots at times. And that makes them great. Because they're three-dimensional people. They're not just, oh, this really cool character that can punch 1,000 rocks at once, and can do this and that, and can fly. No, they're people. And by making these characters one way, you're making them just less good characters and just more of, oh yeah, cool characters that everyone will love, right everybody? Everyone? Like, that's what I'm getting at. This doesn't work. You're just doing what the Naruto anime did. And that was making Sasuke cool and making every other character look useless in comparison. That is bad for the story. There is a reason people do not like the Naruto anime at times. And there's a reason that manga readers especially can have problems with it. And it's because they just destroy the characters of certain characters. They destroy their characters. Like Sakura, you're making her useless? Sakura wasn't useless in the original. She did things in the original. Like, for example, remember when Naruto was about to get cleaved by Zabuza's sword during their first encounter with him? Yeah, Sakura is the reason that he didn't die in the manga. So yeah, you're doing the anime, and I do not think that works for the story at all. And oh boy, let's now get into my favorite part of this. You have shown your hand in one very important way. You are making the girls in this story useless, and I hate that. One of the biggest issues with Naruto is that the female characters are shafted extremely. Almost every female character is worse than their male counterpart in Naruto. And what I think you could have done great for this is make the female characters just as important as their male counterparts. And you don't. You say exactly that. Sakura's still useless. You know what you could have done? You could have literally said, after this arc, Sakura realizing just how little she did for everyone. Maybe she felt useless in that. Like, yeah, she was protecting, was it Tazuna at the time, but she feels useless. Like the other three were out there fighting while she had to stick around and protect the guy, which is important. But have Sakura maybe go to Kakashi and say, Kakashi-sensei, I want to learn how to do more. I want to be less useless next time so I can help you guys. And Kakashi-sensei can say, well, Sakura, while we were training, I noticed that you may actually be great at using genjutsu. Do you want to try that? Like, first off, that makes Kakashi a better teacher, because he is literally going to his students and saying, hey, or not going to students, but he's helping his students more than in the original. And then you can also make Sakura a better character immediately. Alright, let's get into another problem I have. And it, again, is with the female characters. The fact that he focuses on Minato and doesn't even care about Kushina. I know what you're gonna say, why does that matter at all? Who cares about Kushina? And I get it, too. Kushina isn't nearly as important as Minato, but I feel like it would have been so much more cool if, instead of Naruto finding out about Minato, maybe he doesn't find out just yet, or maybe Naruto still has that obsession with the 4th Hokage, like in the original, but he finds out about his mother, Kushina. That would be so interesting, because this isn't just, oh, we got angst, the main character hates his dad for doing this, like putting a demon inside of him. No. Imagine the idea of Naruto finding out about Kushina and wanting to learn about the Uzumaki. I feel like that would have been such a much better idea for the story, because Naruto could have said, ooh, my mom, I want to learn more about her, I want to find out about my clan, the Uzumaki clan. Because in the original, Naruto doesn't give a crap about it. And it sucks, because you can do so much more with that. But you don't. And that's where I think you failed with this rewrite. You could have honestly fixed a few very important things. Make female characters far more important to the story, other than healer. Because that's what they are in the original. And honestly, I feel like with Naruto, giving him, even if you were going to keep that he knows about Minato, make him know about Kushina and the Uzumaki, and make him hate Minato if you're going to keep that, but then make him want to learn about Kushina, learn about the Uzumaki and what they stand for, to maybe say, I don't care about my dad, I want to be more like my clan and what they matter, and what they were about. I feel like that would have made this so much better, and the fact that you just ignored that tells me that you just don't care about that aspect of the story. But hey, what do you guys think about this? Tell me what you think down in the comments, and one more thing, there is no hate towards Dygoknight. Do not attack him, do not do any of that, like, don't go into his comments, tell him he sucks. Alright, no hate towards the guy, we don't want to be doing that. Let's be civil about this, and just not attack him, like, just because his ideas, you may not agree with him, let's not go against the guy for that. I'm doing this all for fun, I'm not trying to attack the guy. So with that being said though, thank you guys, see you next time.